Alright guys, so in this video I want to talk about reducing recurring costs with local leadgen, but I also want to talk about uh, the differences between Duda and WordPress. And so I want to have those two pieces of discussion because one of the things is I joined this rank and rent group or local leadgen teaching course when I initially got into things by way back in 2018, doing about 3 years ago-ish. And all the guys who'd been in the program for like 4+ years all expressed the same thing. They wish they would have built more sites earlier on, faster, things like that. And so last year, about this time, I devoted myself to figuring out, okay, how can I have hundreds of sites up instead of tens of sites up and build out and have those things going on so that when like I'm 27 years old. And so like when I'm 30, how can I have 500 of these things out there and making me money, right? Instead of 50 of these things, right? And so I began to look into how I was structuring my business and systematizing my local lead gen assets, that systematizing the creation of those. So about 7, 8 months ago, we started looking into a white label version of Duda, and I put up 50 sites on there, and then I also had 400 plus sites on WordPress. And so here I want to talk about the cost of that, but then also there's some other pieces of the puzzle that I just want people to be aware of when we talk about local lead gen and we talk about actually owning the assets. Because the issue that I have with Duda, I'll be straight up with you, is you don't own that website. Duda, it's on Duda's platform, and anybody who works with Duda can pull the data from there very easily. Well, on the flip side, with WordPress, you're the only one who can access that site and whoever you provide user access to. I mean, your hosting company maybe, but they make their money by providing excellent hosting so you can stay there, right? So it's not so much of a worry. But with that being said, let's talk about price for a minute, or the cost. Now, Duda can range anywhere between, they start a little bit higher than this, about $11 a site per month. But that's billed annually. So if we want to dive in over here, we can look at their pricing. Now, so $14 a month per site billed annually, but if you want to build it monthly, that's $20 per site. Versus if you go up and you want to scale up, you go to the agency program. But you can possibly get it down to probably about $8 a site with you go talk with them on, as I have with the custom create your plan version. So, and this differs because I'm talking with them. I've been talking with them about hundreds of sites versus like if you just need 20 sites, they'll probably have you go into the agency plan because really that's $11 a site, and it doesn't make sense to them unless you're talking hundreds of sites to go to the custom, right? So that drops the cost considerably if you pay annually, but that's with any software solution, any platform that way. But then then your cost essentially comes down to $11 per month per site because you have 4 sites on this, and you've got $44 per month billed annually. So really, you're into 44 times 12, which let's look at that. What that is: 44 times 12. Just getting started there. That's $500, $528. So versus if we go over to if we do WordPress, it's worth learning about WordPress because it's like if you're going to be online for a long time and you know this, it's not just like local lead gen is touted to be this skill that you can gain fairly quickly and begin to monetize within a few months. Now, I've not found that to be true. I found it to be true over 12 months, but not over like 3 to 6 months. So you're not going to become a millionaire over 3 to 6 months, but over this, I would encourage people to look for, okay, where can you be in 2 to 3 years developing these things? Because there's going to be different skill sets that you're going to have to master underneath this. One of which is going to be your tech stack, or you're going to be your hosting. It's going to be your name or domain registrar, your Namecheap, your GoDaddy, that kind of thing. And then you're also going to figure out your different themes. So you're going to become a bit of a developer this way. So be more of a front-end developer, learning these different pieces of the puzzle. Versus with Duda, you're able to jump in and immediately start building your site. But the thing is, with local leadgen, it's going to take you anywhere between 2 to 12 months to rank for your site, and then start generating leads, and then be able to sell them off. So unless you're a Google Ads professional, where you can start making money right off the bat with getting, so then you're getting leads and be able to sell them off right off the bat. I mean, there's guys out there that are excellent at it, like Jason McClellan and Ed Weedman. I'd recommend following those guys on Facebook because they put out a lot of excellent information regarding regarding paid ads and Facebook ads, things, and Google ads. But if you're doing it the organic way, which is what I do, you're going to be paying out all this money not to make any money back for an average about 6 to 7 months. So it's just like it's a lot easier to build it all out on WordPress, even though it takes a little more time to learn, because you're going to save more money in the long term, and you're going to basically be doing the same amount of maintenance to it, because you're going to have to continually add content. And once you've learned the skill set here, you can easily train an overseas assistant, teach them the skill set to level up their lifestyle. So then you're paying them to build it out for you at a fraction of the cost, and you can focus more on sales, focus more on building connections and networking. So then you can sell more and have more of an overseas fulfillment team, if you will. So that's how I would suggest building all these things out, is using WordPress, because my average cost per site, that's included hosting and the theme that I use Divi, just because they have these starter packs which make things incredibly easy to set up. But my average cost per month per site is about 37 cents. And so instead of $11, it's 37.5 cents. That's including like the $90, because I can, on the average web host Python plan, let's go over there a minute and I'll show you this. So one of the things is you can go over to web host Python and you're going to go to reseller hosting direct admin, because direct admin is like Plesk, like times 10. If you're familiar with administrators, I mean, cPanel has nothing on Plesk is okay. It's way better than cPanel, but on the other side of it, direct admin is a huge step up from Plesk. Plesk had a lot of errors when I was using it. I used it for about 6-7 months, and it would have a lot of errors when installing WordPress. Versus direct admin has an integration with Softalicious, and it will pull in. I've never had really an issue with direct admin installing WordPress and maintaining it. So I go over to reseller hosting and I go to direct admin. And then what I have here is I've got a few of these instances here. This means that it's a piece of a server, but essentially you can put as many domains as you want. I average about 100 domains per one of these, because it's small enough. With local leadgen sites, they're small enough as far as storage wise. They take less than 4 gigs a piece, generally less than a gigabyte. Generally, even more specifically, less than 500 if you're structuring them correctly. But so I haven't maxed out any of these by any means. But then what I love about this is that they give you a specific amount of memory per domain. You can connect them all via the Lightspeed plugin, and connect them all to Cloudflare with their Railgun connection. So then it loads super quickly. So, and always free SSL certificates for life. I mean, there's a lot of different benefits to using web host Python. And one of the things is I was initially using Plesk reseller, and then I told him, hey, this Plesk installer is not working for me. I had a lot of errors when installing stuff. And then I got a call. I told him, hey, I want to cancel. I want to get rid of this. I'm going to go back to SiteGround, because that's what I knew. And then I was just like, and I was contacted by the owner of web host Python. He's down in Dallas, Texas, and he was like, hey man, can you do me a favor? Just try out direct admin for a month on us. Try it out, because I was having some bad experiences. So he's just like, hey man, that's fine. We'll totally refund you, but I just want you to try this, and then you can see how it works. So I tried it, and it took me a couple weeks to get the hang of it. But now I'll never go back to Plesk, or I'll never go back to SiteGround, because this was so much faster and much more efficient. So that's web host Python. So, and Inside, people wonder, well, what is direct admin? It's more of the cutting edge version of cPanel, way better than Plesk, way less errors. But this is what it looks like inside of direct admin. Okay, so I've got all these, each one of these is a site on here. I've got all these ones on here as sites. As you can see, my disk usage is fairly small per site. Because local leadgen sites, you don't need to have that much space on there. But then it's super easy to throw together a new hosting package, because what you're going to do is each one of these is created as a user. You have a site in each user account. But then what you can do in there is go to log in as a user. So we can go to the user and just say kcloudco1, okay? I think we're going to go over to here, and I want to log into this user. So we're going to click on that. And then what I can do is log in as that user. And then you can see, okay, disk usage, bandwidth. Now this is out of 400 gigabytes because I just leave it all on the same. Pulls out of the same server. But then what I can easily also do is go ahead and access, like for Divi, you want to have custom PHP settings, right, to make sure your Divi theme runs and correctly. So it's super easy to add those PHP settings in there. Your SSL certificate, it's super easy to run a new one of those. You can force it to run with HTTPS redirect. And then all you need to do is click save, and then you can see the progress bar on top here. And you can see that it takes a minute to run, but the nice thing is with inside of SiteGround is you can't tell when it's going to pop. This gives you a progress bar, and so you can kind of see when it's going to go, when it's going to finish, right? So that's another thing that I really appreciate. You know, notice how bar almost got halfway and then it said it was done. So then we got a new certificate. It's that easy to run. Email manager, so you can run your MX records very easily, reset all that. Your account manager, and then you're going to be able to go in and log in, do your DNS, set up this way as well. So then you're able to monitor all your different pieces all at the same place very easily. One of my also favorites here is like you've got a Softlicious apps installer integration. So basically you can go over to WordPress and you can install a new WordPress installation. You can monitor your old ones all by going over here to WordPress Manager. So see, there's no WordPress installation here, but I can easily go to install. And then what I can choose to go here is I can delete that. Let's just say I want to use that as my login. I'll just keep it as generic settings for now. Then I can go to install. It says it'll take 3 to 4 minutes. Looks like I proceed farther over there. Okay. So we've got an issue on there to overwrite. Okay. And we're going to go to here, install. So now it's done. It's very quick to do, to overwrite different things. Now, to manage different WordPress installations, notice how I've got a blog set up here. What I can also do inside of this WordPress manager, inside of Softlicious, is a lot of the things that ManageWP enables you to do. ManageWP.com, you can have a lot of different sites being managed at the same time. Well, this essentially does a lot of that for you. So we can upgrade the latest version for our WordPress core. We can auto upgrade WordPress plugins, auto upgrade WordPress themes. And we can see whether, okay, do we want to enable robot.txt or not? And then we can hide it from the search engines, things like that. So there's a lot of different things that we can do already inside of here that will reduce the amount of management that we have to do on the WordPress site itself. So it enables us to do things a lot quicker. It's one of the things I like to do, because then I was able to reduce my ManageWP subscription quite a bit because I just enabled all these different settings when I migrated from SiteGround a while back. So yeah, and then you've got, everybody knows Divi. Divi offers lifetime access. I do the $90 a year just because I think there's a little bit, you stay active in their subscription. So I don't know, the lifetime access, lifetime premium support. If you're a lifetime guy, I just think they look at you a little bit differently. Well, you're not continually paying us, so we're gonna have a little less premium support. That's just me. I've never had any negative really experience with Divvy. They've always been excellent at getting back to support, got other support getting back to me on this. So those are just my experience with both of them there. So yeah, that's how I save a lot of money. When I have 400 plus WordPress sites put up there, and I can kind of prove that by going over to managewp.com here. Hang on a second. All right, so here we are in my ManageWP account, and I've got, as you can see, I've got 398 sites in here, and then we're migrating 50 sites over from Duda right now, and we'll have roughly 450 in here. But what this enables me to do is have a lot more sites that are cooking versus just having 50 sites at a time. So because I want to have here, I'll show you my audacious goals a second. Like, this is the way that I think about life. And I think I'm not sure if you guys think about life this way, but I try to think very analytically about it. Because right now I'm 27 years old, right? And so I've got roughly 500 sites. I'm thinking over the next year I'll have a lot of those rented out. And by 2023 I'm going to build out 500 more. And the average monthly that I can get from those is going to go up because I'll have more authority in the marketplace. Right? And so then you look at, okay, well, what's your gross monthly revenue from that? Well, that's 1.5 million. Well, okay, times that by 12, you got $18 million a year coming in. What's your annual profit? What's your monthly profit? What's your estimated expenses, estimated labor costs, all these different things. And then, okay, what are we paying the salespeople to do that? What are we what are we doing with our money there? So then we can potentially reduce taxes and also be able to have even more passive income coming in, because, well, local lead gen or rank and rent is very passive. Like, it's probably as an 80% passivity rate. You still got to be checking in with your clients on a regular basis, making sure the sites are up to date and all this stuff. And so real estate is a lot more passive than that, because you just invest the money with a certain fund, and then you're able to essentially collect a check every month or every quarter, depending on how they distribute. And you essentially just need to provide them an address to send the check to, or an account number, right? So that's where my goal is, to have a lot of those. And so I'm like, okay, well, how can I get 10,000 sites like this up over the next 8 to 10 years? And this is 8 years here. But then you just look at it, like, okay, how can I begin to build this kind of lead gen structure? This is what I plan on. I don't plan little things at a time. I'm like, okay, well, how do I build into this? This is why I've spent a lot of time developing my content building system. How do I scale content? How do I build excellent pages out, or excellent, probably grade B, if you were in school, right, and you're trying to grade a paper, you would give it a B instead of an A. How do I get grade B content created at an economical price? And how can I do a ton of that very quickly? Because if I were to estimate, from February, let's go over, I think from probably about January of this year to April of this year, we created about close to 350 sites. And each of those sites has, let's go over there, to be minimum of 3,700 words on the home page. And then it's got 5 service pages minimum with 700 words on it. So 700 times that times 5 is 3,500 words. And then you've got location pages. Each one of those has 5 location pages with approximately 700 words. So it's another 3,500 words. So we got service pages, location pages. So we have roughly, if we're just run a sum equation on this, we have approximately 10,000 words on each site. So normally, if you're charging so if the average writer, let's say, charges 3 cents a word, and so if we did 0.03, so we did that, go that way. That's not going to be it here. This times this, yep, that should be it. That would be $321. That doesn't seem that per site, right? And so then you times that by 350 equals this times 350, and you're out $112,000, right? I can't versus what I figured out how to do was to create content for literally content. Each page cost me probably $1 at most. So we're talking 5 pages, and this. All these pages cost, so that's $3. Well, that'd be about $20 per site, all things considered. So homepage is a little longer. $1, 5 pages, so $5, $10. Let's just say $15 per site. Versus, so then if you plug that into 15 here instead, then you're out $5,000 instead of 112. So this is one of the advantages of just learning how to scale, structuring your business correctly. Because now what I'm doing is like, this is all content. So this is all content. But then it's like, okay, well, how do you get your backlinks rolling at the same time there? When I can have 80 backlinks put to my sites for about $16. And these are moderate backlinks, so they have moderate power to them, right? And so then you times that 16 by 350 equals this times this. Then you're out another $5,600. So that's how to structure your business in such a way. Figure out the systems behind each part, because when you build a lead gen sites are composed of a domain, a hosting, a host that you're putting the site on, and then you have a theme, then you have content, images, and backlinks. I mean, that's your site. And then you've got the GMB on top of that. So then with the GMB, you've got you've got the Google listing, and you've got how to verify it. So then then you want to have images that are natural on there. You want to have reviews, backlinks to that, possibly a couple of Google stacks, depending on how hard it is to rank over there. But then you can begin, and you got citations as well. So, I mean, you think about how to get each one of these at the most economical price, and then you train team members across the ocean on how to build them out. Because then you're leveling up your team's skill set, bettering their life, getting them a higher paycheck than they would a lot of other places. But then you're also enabled to scale that way too. Because as I make this, like, my team is going to get a certain percentage of my business as it grows. So then their wages will continually go up as my business grows as well. So in some sense, they don't have equity, but they have a percentage of profits that come out of it. So in turn, I'm making their life better and my life better. And then there's a lot of other things that I want to do once we achieve this. Because like this is just a piece of my life. This is about 10 years out of my life here. Okay. But then it's beginning to use this. So then let's say once we have this invested, if we just have a light 6% annual return, then we have that passive income established. But then it's like, who is this? Once I have this amount invested, who is that going to get me in contact with? Right? Who is that going to enable me to talk to about doing some bigger things? Right? A couple years ago, I think it was in 2018, Grant Cardone talked about how he was going to, or how he helped raise $100 million for a certain charity he was at. Right? So $100 million can be able to do a lot of things. Like that's like at a 6% annual return, that's $6 million that way. And one of my dreams is to be able to provide sustenance or food, water, education, a lot of other infrastructure to communities that really need it. And so, like, if we looked at, like, we go to World Vision, I'm not saying you need to use a World Vision, I just want to use it as an example. But if we look at, like, what it costs to sponsor a child here, let's go to longest waiting, more, sponsor me. So it's $39 a month right now, right? So then you're looking at, if you just spreadsheet this out a little bit, saying, okay, well, it's $39 a month, times that by 12, so we're going to want to annualize it. It's going to be equals this times 12. It's about roughly $500 a year to sponsor a kid. And because this is getting them, this sponsorship gets them to, let's see, it gets them basically what I talked about earlier. It gets them food, water, it helps build some infrastructure, and it gives them education, right? So essentially, if we look at that, so then we got $500 a year are coming in to help out one kid. Let's just say we have 6 million. If we have $100 million donated, and we have 6 million annualized out of that fund coming out and just going to World Vision. So if we said we had 6 million, we want to go over here, add in some dollars there. So 600,000. We have 6 million. So then we're going to go in and divide that by this divided by this. And we can't sponsor or half of a kid, so we're just going to eliminate. So we've got 12,000 kids we can do every month or every year we can sponsor. So that's just, and that's lifting up a whole community. Like you can go on and sponsor a village and lift them up and help them be able to gain the next level of life that's possible. So that's the direction that I want to go with a lot of this. It's like, so it's not just how do you become Mr. Scrooge and basically get as much money as you can, but how do you begin to build what kind of vision do you have for your life so that you're building out some kind of empire that takes care of yourself, your family, but then also communities that are that you really care about. I would say that God put those in your heart, but that's just me from being raised in a Christian perspective, things like that. I'm not particular about whether you believe or not. I'm not going to come after you either way, so you're fine. But it's just that's the direction that I'm just like, okay, well, this is a higher purpose that I can devote myself to, that I'm devoting myself to, because I've done a lot of learning over the past 2 years. I've learned a lot of how to use a lot of different tools. Like, hang on a second. Like, these are the tools that I've learned to use a lot of. Like, this is a sheet that I put together. A lot of these are affiliate links, just FYI, but it's just like, I'll attach this thing down below if you want to use them as a list of resources that are helping me. But essentially, like, this is my tech stack that I talked about earlier: Blog Post, Python, Divi, content creation tools. Our Article Forge is huge. I did a video on how my team 3x the content creation capacity by implementing Article Forge. You might want to check that video out as well. But and Jarvis helps with creating some video descriptions, but arguably I haven't found it as helpful as Article Forge, honestly. But free stock images, there's just a list of free stock images. I have a subscription to Adobe stock because it's just like, then you just get a ton of images at a decent price. Not horrible anyway. But then your graphic design, you want to have to be able to add those in for your logo on your site, as well as your Facebook page, your YouTube channel for each site that you create. Then you want to add videos to that YouTube channel. You can use in video, or you can use Canva. Canva has a decent video editor. I mean, my digital media friends will be like, no, it's horrible, but I'm just like, for the down and dirty stuff that I got to do to create a video super quick, I'll probably make a video on how I do that later on. But video creation in video is actually really cool because it takes an article that you can generate in Article Forge, and then you add that article, and it'll create a video on it. All right, and so it's like, then in a matter of about 15 minutes, you can have an article and a video about that article created. So it's really neat that way. Then I use Mangools, tracking sites, different things. I have their agency plan. And then remote team management. You want to be able to pay people without paying a ton of fees. That's why I use Wise. And then Time Doctor just keeps track of time, keeps everybody honest. For past couple of years, I worked for a guy who was one of the top local lead gen guys in one of the groups I've been in. And he was Time Doctor, and I was on it for a while too. It just keeps everybody honest. It's like, are you working? Cool, clock in. If you're not working, clock out. And then some different things that I've created, some advanced automations with Ubot. Basically, one of the things that you can do is you can create a script with Ubot that will enable you to just put queries into Article Forge, and so that you can just create a bot that runs and creates tons of articles at the same time in Article Forge, right? So, and Ubot is essentially like, if you know the difference between Weebly and WordPress, or Duda and WordPress, Ubot is like the Weebly or the Duda for coding. It makes things a lot easier. It's click and drag. I tell people this all the time. It's like, I graduated in 2016 with a degree in philosophy and theology. Didn't know jack about doing anything online. And in the last 2.5 years, I've created a lot of different things. And Ubot was one of the tools that's helped me out with that. So, and then LeadSnap is one of the pieces of software. We have a group available too for that. But it's like, I'm helping a friend of mine launch his software and help that become successful, because it basically supports every piece of the local lead gen process, from due diligence to lead management to client management, and it also has a lot of automations put in there for follow up on getting clients for sites and things like that. So it's helpful in that way. So again, and you probably already hear, so that's my YouTube channel. But yeah, those are a lot of my resources that I've put together over the years, over the couple of years that I've been in this. So again, have a bigger dream of what you're doing, and then go ahead and comment. You can create a spreadsheet, or you can just say, hey, Kyle, this is my purpose for doing this. Go ahead and comment that below. That'd be really cool to see what other people's goals are for this. Generally, I would encourage you to develop something beyond yourself, beyond yourself and your family's needs. Like, a lot of people, you really only need 20 to 30 producing sites to really have a pretty comfortable life, because if each site produces $500 a month in income, I mean, then you have 30 of those. That's 15K. That pushes you into top 3% income, like 225K a year, right? So that there's a lot that you can do with that income. Like, you could donate half that income and kill your taxes, and you wouldn't have to do that. Or you can put half of it into real estate, so it'll make things even more passive for you. But then it's like, okay, what are you going to do once you achieve that? It's like, if you begin to visualize what it is that you want to do with all that, like I want to be able to walk in here 468 and go ahead and just find, okay, call up World Visions. Hey, I want to sponsor 12,000 kids. Can you got a spreadsheet on everybody here, and just let me know. Let's plug into doing that. So being able to walk in and do that, like part of it is like this is a big vision piece of it. But then it's like imagine the different blessings that you can give to people. It's like you can provide 100. You can give 100% tips at restaurants, or 200% tips. Like say your bill is like $50, you can give $200 to the waiter or waitress. And you can make a big difference in their life because they're learning how to do life too. And they're trying to make a living as we all are. Right? Imagine who you can bless by developing a longer term vision. Like I'm talking about 5, 10, 15 years down the wall, down and see what you can do. Like by developing this, I can potentially reach hundreds of thousands, maybe even 1 million people and lift them up to reach the next level of what they can do in their life. So that's the goal here. This is like structured. This is not just like a pipe dream because okay, I already have 500 sites, right? And so it's like I've got these now. I'm working on getting my optimization stuff set up there. So if you're not in William Jones's Google My Business help group on Facebook, get in there because he helps with a lot of optimization, different things. He also partners with different people who specialize in backlinking. Yeah, so he's very helpful in that way. So I'm developing processes that'll help me get my sites ranked quickly. And then it's like, if you're not following JRFENT on Facebook, I suggest going after him too because he puts out a lot of valuable stuff. He's done very well inside the local lead gen sphere himself as well. So he's one of the guys that I follow as well. So yeah, I mean, if you guys got questions and stuff, feel free to drop them in comments. I'm working on growing this channel, so I'm gonna include a my link to my tools. If you do use these, pretty much all if I make any income from this channel, it's gonna go back into creating different videos for it. But if you got value from the videos, feel free to go ahead and go after the tools too. And if you got any questions about the tools or you want a specific video made, just feel free to ask in the comments. Thanks, guys.